So this is our first lesson on the final king of Rome, Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Superb. This is part one, his accession, how he became king. Find how he became king, assess the validity of the story, it's not true. Popularity, how popular you are. Servius, previous king, patrician. Census, Tullia, coup, that's pronounced coup. Assassination, patricide, regicide, tyrant. Take over a military, if take over politics by force, it's called a coup. You use force to take over the country or the city, whatever it is. Patricide, if you murder your father, it is patricide. Regicide, if you murder a king, it is regicide. Tyrant, somebody who rules without the backing of the law, rules through force. In ancient times, not necessarily a bad thing. So, previous lesson, you know what to do. So how does Tarquin the Superb become king? Here's the story. Priscus has been, Servius, sorry, has been ruling for about 40 years, 43 years. And Tarquin is unhappy. He's plotting with one of the daughters of the king. He's plotting with Servius's daughter, Tullia, about what they should do next, how to take over. He meets various important senators. The old senators, he says, look, my father gave you the job. My father, Tarquinius Priscus, gave you this job. You owe loyalty to my family. To the young senators, look, if I'm king, everything will be much better. I will give you money. In fact, he bribes them. Ambitus, remember that? Yeah. And then, when he thinks he's ready, he marches into the Senate House with a small army of men and seats himself on the throne. And starts a big rant, a big prepared rant speech about why Servius can't be king. He's a slave, all that business. Yeah. He can't be king. He's only there because of the plots of a woman, and Tanaquil helped him become king. The census is a terrible thing. Everyone knows how much money everyone else has got, and that's creating hatred. It should be private, not public. So a big long rant, a big long speech about how Servius shouldn't be king. During this rant, Servius eventually bursts in, he's in his 70s, 80s by now, old man, and marches up and remonstrates with Tarquinius. There's an argument. Tarquinius seizes the king, lifts him up, picks him up, and says, the son of a king will always better a slave. Drags him out of the Senate and throws him down the steps. Here he is. Now, various stories about what happens next. Some people say that Tarquinius' bodyguards then murder him. Others say, no, Tullia was nearby. There's her dad. She's in a chariot. She has her chariot run him over, and that kills him. Either way, Tarquinius is now king. What does he do? He makes various changes. He makes every single Roman plebeian into a slave labourer. I mean, they've got to work for him, he's not going to pay them. They're going to finish building the Cloaca Maximus and the Circus Maximus. He bans all religious ceremonies. He doesn't want people gathering in groups of 3 or more, because then he fears they may plot against him. He travels everywhere with armed bodyguards and doesn't tell anyone what his plans are so they can't assassinate him. He becomes the judge in all capital crimes. A capital crime is any crime for which the punishment is death. In that way, he's able to bring charges against all his rivals and have them executed. Yeah. The Senate he buys off, and he won't buy off. He rarely attends their meetings. He doesn't consult them. He doesn't bury the body of the previous king. So Servius's body is left lying in the road outside the Senate. And he gets rid of the census. So the military privileges, responsibilities of the patricians go into abeyance. Yeah. All of this together is the act we call of a tyrant, not a king. Social changes. Well, he finishes the Cloaca Maximus. He finishes the Circus Maximus because he had all these slave labourers now. And so, in some ways, Rome is said to improve, and also build some temples, the usual thing. Militarily, he's shown as being very successful. He conquers territory and founds Roman colonies and land for Roman people. He conquers the city of Gabii, and I'll explain that in a minute. His son, Tarquinius, his son, called Tarquin, pretends to defect, pretends to join this city. He's so fantastic, he becomes the military leader, and then turns coat and defeats them, and they're all killed. Yeah? And he also wins a great war against the Volsci, wins a battle against them, but sets up a longer war. So he's, in terms of a military warlike point of view, Tarquinius Superbus said to have done very well, which will lead us to our assessment phase. A couple of lists. Was he any good, or was he a tyrant?